This is the Tisauta, which the Chinese pilgrim Zhang calls Ta-Tein. This is Tisauta, which the Chinese pilgrim calls Ta-Tein, and which country the Buddha in his previous birth was the king. The Buddha in his previous birth was the king of Tisauta, and he gave away all his belongings, his country, his belongings, his clothes, and he wore black clothes. This is Karikh Baba. Karikh Baba means the black Baba, that is the Buddha. See again, you all are searching for the Buddha, but up here you have Karikh Baba. Karikh Baba means the black Baba. What happened was, as a Chakravarti Raja, he was so kind, he gave away everything, all his property, and he wore black clothes, folks. So that is why this is Karikh Baba. Karikh means the black Baba. So folks, now why did I choose Tisauta as Zhang started? To understand it and to understand the Buddha story, view this video to the video. Now my Buddhist friends, now that I've shown you all these places, Vaishali, which is Pidhauli, and then Chakravarti, where the Buddha predicted his own death, and where Amrapali would live, and Chakmuni, where the Buddha stayed, and a lot of other places, and I showed you the Kapala shrine. Now folks, for the third Buddhist convocation, where there was a split amongst the Buddhists, folks, 56 kilometers northwest of Vaishali, means 56 kilometers northwest of Pidhauli, was the a place called, which Zhang mispronounces as Ta-Tein. 56 kilometers northwest of Pidhauli is a place called Ta-Tein. Folks, Ta-Tein is a mispronunciation of Tisauta. Ta-Tein is a mispronunciation of Tisauta. So, and Tisauta, of course, I have told you about the Karikh Baba or the Black Baba. Now, 4 kilometers southeast of Ta-Tein, Tisauta, is the place where the third convocation took place. Where there was a very long debate, because the bhikshus of Vaishali weren't following on the footsteps of the Buddha. The bhikshus of Vaishali weren't following on the footsteps of the Buddha. And there was a very long debate, and it seems in that debate the Buddhists lost. Because the Buddhists that were not following the Buddha's law, they continued. So folks, that is the third convocation. The place's name is Mataya. See, Ashoka he made stupas over all these places, and they carried the name. Now Mataya means, Mathana means to churn. Now that Zhang has shown us where Tathagat left his patra as token of remembrance to the Lichavis, Zhang then shows us a place called, what he calls Ta-Tein, which is Tisuata Dharampur. Folks, let's see. 200 li to the northwest. Now 200 li is around 56 kilometers. 200 li to the northwest of the city of Vaishali, that is Pidhauli. Pidhauli is the city of Vaishali. Or a little less is an old and long deserted city with but few inhabitants. In it is a stupa. This is the place where Buddha dwelt when in old days, for the sake of an assembly of Bodhisattwas, men and Devas, he recited an explanatory Jataka of himself, when as a Bodhisattva he was a Chakravarti monarch of this city and called mahadev. Ta-Tein is actually Tisauta Dharampur. It's not Mahadev, it is Dharampur, called Dharampur, Ta-Tein. He was possessed of the 7 treasures and was ruler of extended over the world. Observing the marks of decay in himself and concluding in his mind about his impermanency of his body, he took a high resolve, being secretly affected by his reflections, left his throne, gave up his country, and becoming a hermit, assumed the dark robes and gave himself to study. So he became a hermit and he assumed the dark robes and he gave himself to studies. Now folks, let's see where this is. This is your Ta-Tein. What does Huen Tsang calls it? What do you call it? Ta-Tein. Yeah, Ta-Tein. Now where is Ta-Tein? It is 200 li northwest of the city of Vaishali, which is Pidhauli. That is 200 li is 56 kilometers. Now here we have Pidhauli. This is the city of Vaishali on the banks of the Ganges. And of course you have your Koti Gama, Godna, which I showed you all. Then you have your Chak Amla, etc. Now let's pull this down. Yes, and here. Folks, where is Ta-Tein? See, here is Pidhauli. And 56 kilometers to the northeast of Pidhauli. 56, you can measure it with a, see, here is the bar, it is fixed at 10 kilometers. Now 56 kilometers northeast of Pidhauli, you go, and here is your Ta-Tein. Tisauta is your Ta-Tein. Ta-Tein, it's upside down. Ta and Tisau is 10. So Tisauta is your Ta-Tein, and it is 56 kilometers northwest of, exactly 56 kilometers northwest of Pidhauli. And folks, this area prays to what do you call it, the Karyakhi Baba. Folks, this area prays to the Karyakhi Baba. Here is Tisuata Dharampur. Tisuata Dharampur. And where did the Buddha in his previous incarnation was as a Chakravarti Raja of this place? He gave away all his things, what do you call it, his belongings, and wore black clothes. See here, Baba Karikh's Sthan. Karikh means wearing black. Karikh means the color black, not a color black, blackened. It means blackened. So the Baba blackened himself. Baba Karikh Sthan is the one of the incarnations of the Buddha, folks. See, Buddhism is still alive, and this is an important temple of Tisauta. So here let's read what Huen Tsang has to say. See, 200 li to the northwest I showed you of Vaishali. Yes, and what do you call it, and concluding in his mind about the impermanency of the body, he took a high resolve, being secretly affected by his reflections, left his throne, gave up his country, and becoming a hermit, assumed the dark robes, that's why it is Karyakhi, and gave himself to study. So that is, you know, your dark robes, Karyakhi Baba, up here. See, this is Baba Karikh Nath. Karikh means dark. So Baba Karikh Sthan, this is where the Buddha would sit. Sthan means where a person sits. So this is where the Buddha would reside as the Black Baba. Folks, check out the pictures of Tisauta and the Black Baba, and the next one I will show you is where the third convocation took place up here in Mattaya. Meantime, check out this, the Buddha's, one of the Buddha's incarnation. Now folks, this is Tisauta Dharampur, which Zhang, the Chinese pilgrim, calls Ta-Tein. Ta-Tein is Tisauta Dharampur. Folks, this is the country in which the Buddha in his previous incarnation was a Chakravarti Raja. Folks, Zhang shows us a country where the Buddha in his previous life was a Chakravarti Raja, and he was he used to do a lot of thinking, and he realized the impermanency of life. So he gave away all his belongings, his country, his clothes, and he blackened himself and started and put himself to studies. So that is, folks, the Karikh Baba, Karikh Nath Baba Sthan. Sthan means a place where the Baba sits. So that is where the Buddha in his previous incarnation as the Karikh Baba used to sit. Folks, you all have read what Zhang wrote about this story. See, this is Karikh Nath Dham Sthan. Sthan means a place, the place where someone used to stay. Someone, supposing he used to stay in a certain place, after he dies, they make a small temple. So this is where the Buddha, in his previous incarnation as the king of Tisauta, which Zhang mispronounces as Ta-Tein, is is the king of this place, and he realizes the impermanency of life. So he gives away all his clothes, his valuables, his kingdom, and he becomes blackens himself, wears black clothes, and he gets involved in studies, puts himself to studies. So this is the place where he used to study, because this is a sthan. This sthan means where he used to stay. So folks, this is your Buddhism. You are searching for the Buddha, but up here you have the Karikh Baba. So folks, this is Indian Buddhism for you. I'm doing your homework for you. India is still Buddhist. So folks, if you found this video educative, then hurry, follow, like and subscribe to my page Buddha Exhume, and tell your friends and relatives about this video and the other videos in my page Buddha Exhume. Thank you.